How do you do, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? My name is Jeff and welcome to Polo Neck Music. Now we're stuck right smack dab in the middle of the Australian summer as this video is being recorded. As a result, we get some very intense heat waves happening sometimes. That's why I'm not wearing my black polo neck jumper, or skivvy as we call it here in Australia. It's just too bloody hot today. Instead, I'm wearing a t-shirt which says, "My Uncle Irving changed dentists." This can mean whatever you want it to mean. Some of you might ask, why would I want to get this message printed up on a t-shirt? Well, I'll tell you, I don't know. It just sounds good. But the funny thing is, I didn't even have an Uncle Irving. A few of you who have commented on my channel so far have made remarks about the wallpaper behind me. Some of you have said that it looks a bit bleak, whereas others have stated that the feng shui is all wrong. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I feel that I'm in perfect harmony with this environment, and it also helps to contribute to a greater sense of well-being on my part. However, being the sort of person that I am, I'll definitely listen to any comments and suggestions from those of you out there in YouTube land. I'll also try to take your suggestions on board. At least I'm displaying an ornamental clown on top of a speaker box today. This helps to improve the general aesthetic qualities of the composition. Anyway, say hello to Mr. Clown. Mr. Clown, would you like to say hello to everybody out there in YouTube land?
Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land.
Well, thank you very much. Didn't see my lips move once, did you? Anyway, there goes Mr. Clown. I wanted to mention that making these YouTube video presentations can be an extremely time-consuming process, but it's also a wonderful creative exercise as well, because I get to combine various disciplines such as script writing, musical performance, video editing, applying the elements of design, and last but not least, terrible acting. But the one thing that I enjoy most about the creation of these presentations is the video editing. I can do all sorts of cool stuff with the editing software on my computer. For example, I can include background music whenever I want to. I said I can include background music whenever I want to. Hey, turn that down, will you? That's way too loud. Come on! Bloody hell, you call that background music? Ridiculous. Come on, let's hear some real background music. There, that's better. I can also apply a whole lot of special effects to the visual image. If I get tired of looking at my ugly face, then all I have to do is simply black out, so to speak. Do not be alarmed, there's nothing wrong with your television set. I'm still here. I can also use whiteout as well, or make myself black and white, turn myself into a photographic negative, or even an X-ray. I can also do some interesting stuff with sound too. I can talk like this. I can sound like a chipmunk.
Well, I hope this will put smiles on your faces. I certainly think it should anyway.
Or I can slow myself right down.
So, what do you all think? Oh no, that sounds terrible. I definitely don't like to hear myself talking like this.
Anyway, enough of all this bullshit. As I mentioned in the introductory video presentation, aside from musical performances on my Polo Neck Music channel, there'll also be room for levity as well. Since I consider myself to be a closet stand-up comedian, did I say stand-up comedian? Then why am I sitting down? Anyway, The reason I became a musician is so that I could talk crap in between songs while performing live on stage. But the only reason why I'm here in the first place is because my parents had nothing better to do at the time of my conception. It was also mentioned in my introductory video that I've developed abilities as a visual artist during the course of my miserable existence. Perhaps this might be a good time to explain some of the motivation behind some of my artworks. We'll start with this one. It's a black and white airbrushed portrait of the great Australian country music troubadour, Mr. Chad Morgan. Chad often likes to tell his audiences that he was born with the name Chadwick. During his younger days, he used to work on a Queensland sugarcane plantation. One night, he got caught out with a cane cutter's daughter. Her father immediately brandished a cane-cutting knife, cut off Chad's wick, and since then he has simply been known as just Chad. Some commentators have mentioned that Chad is the patron saint of every unattractive Australian male who can't get a root. He's a very interesting character in my opinion, and a person who I felt the urge to immortalise in the form of an airbrushed portrait. The next one is a portrait of Shane MacGowan, lead singer and songwriter for the Anglo-Irish band known as the Pogues. As you can see from these portraits, I'm not interested in reproducing beauty and attractiveness. Many of us are drawn to the darker aspects of our existence. After all, why do we find villains so much more interesting than the good guys? Why are we fascinated by evil and ugliness in all its myriad forms? Wouldn't we rather spend time with an antisocial, smelly alcoholic rather than some twit who showers 3 times a day, drinks in moderation, and is also very sociable at parties? I definitely know which one I'd prefer. However, as a complete contrast, I was called upon in the past to go in the opposite direction and create what I would call cutie pie goody two-shoes artwork. Many years ago, I did some work for an animation company and was required to produce drawings like what you're about to see. So here we have examples of some cloyingly cute cartoon characters which were created in the classic American animation style that was around during the middle of the 20th century. This is a little sequence of drawings that display a romantic encounter. Some people might think that the story of Romeo and Juliet is for the birds, but this is taking the situation a bit far, don't you think? Oh, this one's not too bad. How many times have we felt the need to gorge ourselves on pizza once in a while? And this is okay too. The guy reminds me of something out of a Tom and Jerry or Tex Avery cartoon. Oh yeah, and here's a little animation sequence of a boxer hitting a punching bag. Hey, that looks pretty cool. I think I'll do that again. Biff, bang, kapow, and there we go. Well, that was all very cute and cartoony, but let's face it, I prefer creating artwork like this. Realistic carnivores can look very fierce indeed. Here is another interesting fellow. Our simian friend here looks like a few people who I know. Just as a point of interest, the reflected colour of the blue sky can be seen on the hair and skin of this individual. So that's it for today, folks. No musical performances this time, but as I said in my introductory video, Polonek Music is going to feature a variety of different forms of personal expression which will hopefully keep you entertained and informed. When I came up with the idea for this channel, a friend of mine suggested that aside from playing music, I should also perhaps deliberate on the philosophy according to Jeff, and that's exactly what I've done today. So thanks for joining me, and I'll be back again in 2 weeks from now with another video presentation. Until then, I'll see you around when the kitchen sinks. Toodles! If you would like to subscribe to my channel, then please click on the subscribe button. You may feel free to post comments as well. If you have any questions, then I'll do my best to answer them. Please also find the links to my Facebook and DeviantArt pages in the video description. Thank you all very much for your attention.